This episode of the ZuLoo Poodcast is sponsored by ZuLoo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at ZuLoo.com.
And so we were able to meet one of those leaders, Perez, who was, living with HIV, and just hearing her story and the fact that she really didn't think that she would even live until, 18, and now she's 30, and she's had, subsequently very healthy children. And her HIV is under control. And so just, I think being able to just see that internal transformation, not just for themselves, but within their communities, I think is really, really powerful. It truly never gets old. I don't know, I could meet 100 more people and similar stories, and every story is just as powerful.
Welcome to the ZuLoo Poodcast, where we talk all things poop, toilets, and sanitation. Through insightful news, impact stories, and quirky humor, we aim to discuss and highlight the critical role toilets play in whisking poop out of our lives, the impact toilets have, or lack thereof, in the health and wellness of humanity, and what ZuLoo is doing to help solve the current global sanitation crisis.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the ZuLoo Poodcast. We're so excited to have you listening in again. We just had some fun pre-recording chitter-chatter, so I feel
we
a
have
little
more
giddy.
fun off camera than we do on camera sometimes.
If you can believe
Sometimes.
it. We have a lot of fun here on camera.
But we're having a lot of fun today. Check it out. We've got
Check it out.
some festive toilet paper going on. What is this? Who is
Plus
this?
our producer, Trevor Sanders, is
Thank
back.
you.
And Trevor's back.
I'm
Hey,
back.
Trevor, what's up?
I'm back and I give a crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're glad you
Us
do.
too.
We're glad you do.
Yes,
That's awesome.
this is all toilet paper from Who Gives a Crap, who we are very excited to talk about today because Darren and I had the opportunity to chat with Robin Cho, who is their head of impact over at Who Gives a Crap, which is a big deal.
That's a big deal because they're
Yeah.
all about impact, So
They're
she's
all
like,
about impact.
she's like running the show on that side of the fence.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But more on that later. We just wanted to highlight, look how beautiful our table looks
Just a little
today.
taste of what's coming,
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
looks good.
They do such a great job. It's always festive. I was looking at their website yesterday and their new collection is the Earth collection. So they've got, all these pretty botanical designs and
Yeah.
cute little animals and things like that.
That's right.
Awesome.
It's worth checking out.
Go check it out.
But the penguin one's always been my favorite.
Is this a penguin?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a penguin.
Oh, okay. I can see
yeah,
that.
you can see it
I was
now.
looking
yeah.
at it this way.
It's got a hoodie.
I was thinking that was like a toilet seat. And,
Not a hoodie, a beanie.
Yeah.
A beanie.
I got
Okay.
what you meant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got a penguin there.
Yeah, a little
That's cool.
penguin with
Nice.
a cap on.
I think these are left over from Christmas.
Yeah.
We could
This
just
is the
go like
box.
this.
Well, should I show this now or what?
Yeah,
We don't
pull
need
it
to
up.
show Darren. We can just.
This is the
stack
box
it
it came in, and I opened it the wrong
That's
way.
awesome.
Anyway,
It's pretty incredible. The Give edition.
Give edition.
Yeah. I like
So,
that.
they always do a great job.
Guess I'm here for the animals because I like the little leopard on the box.
Yeah, they got a little leopard, and is that a llama?
Nice.
Is that a llama or is that a
Looks more like a donkey to me.
donkey?
Scary donkey.
Yeah, it's like Christmas donkey.
Con mi burrito sabanero voy camino de Belén. You guys know that song?
No.
Oh, it's like the cutest little Christmas Spanish song.
Oh, let's hear
It's
it.
just like it's basically like the little drummer boy. It's like the little drummer boy gets on his little donkey and he rides to see Jesus.
Oh,
Dookie, 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 da. It's so cute when all the little kids sing it. Anyway.
okay. Well, let's listen to it. Go.
Oh, no, I'm not going to sing it more than
Save it
that's
for Christmas.
That's like literally all that it is.
Christmas
Oh, okay.
episode.
Oh, we'll do a Christmas
Christmas
episode.
episode.
And we'll have Kelsey.
Yes. She will
I'll bring my
sing,
little
sing,
burrito,
sing.
My little donkey.
We will
donkey.
play little
Yeah.
bongos and she will sing.
I love it. Well, before we jump into Robin's interview, though, we've got to have our poo news. So, Darren, what'd you find?
Well, some news about toilet paper. It's relevant
Important. Irrelevant, yes.
because we're talking about toilet paper today, right? Super important. Have you heard this term shrinkflation? Not inflation,
I-
but shrinkflation.
No.
I have.
It's a term of
Yes.
that economists are explaining. What is it?
Well, and that's when I'm having a hard time putting my finger on it right now. But I know I've heard it.
Okay, shrinkflation. So is when prices go up, like we talked last time about the cost of tampons and toilet paper. Everything's becoming more expensive. So companies have two choices. They raise the prices, right?
Right.
Or they keep the prices the same, but they give you a little bit less
Yes. Okay.
than what they used to give you,
Yeah.
right? So if like you're selling
That's a real
soup,
thing.
maybe you sell a little bit less soup.
Yeah.
And so your costs stay, your profits stay about the same, but you're delivering, less product.
That's a very real thing.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow.
and I'm sure we've all experienced that. There's a couple of restaurants here locally that I won't name because I still frequent them.
Oh, okay.
But
We've struck a nerve.
but it's completely different than it used to be.
Yeah.
And I know we're Americans and we're gluttons and we eat a lot.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, it's crazy when you pay the same thing or more.
Yep.
And they hit you with a lot less. Or you can just see
Yeah.
like in a box of cereal and things like that.
Yeah.
The
It just
boxes
seems
are a little thinner.
everything's
Yeah.
just smaller.
Yeah, exactly. It's a real thing. And
Wow.
toilet paper is no different.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So in the past year, ever since inflation became a thing, major brands like Charmin, Angel Soft, Costco's Kirkland, Signature have reduced the number of individual sheets on each roll of toilet paper. The packages still contain the same number of rolls, but each roll has is a little slimmer. Right?
Yep.
And most consumers aren't like, maybe counting them out.
Well, they used to, and I don't know, but do they still
I think they still list
say
it on
they
the
used to
packaging.
say a big
Yeah.
deal, like, well,
400?
you get
whatever.
you get extra sheets per roll.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
I'm just
Okay.
thinking of, do either of you watch The Office or have ever seen
Oh,
The Office?
every episode. Yeah.
Just thinking of the episode where it's like late in the show, right? Where Dwight is the building owner.
Yes.
And so he's in charge
yeah.
of like all the, anyway, there's an episode where he's trying to cut costs on running the building. And so he installs automatic lights, but then he also starts single plying the toilet paper with this big machine. So he just hooks up the roll and has his assistant like split
Yes.
split the plies into single plies.
It's nothing worse than single ply.
Nothing worse than single ply.
And it's so crazy because what do? You end up just burning through a ton
You
more.
just use way more.
But then the problem really occurs when you get the really thick quilted Charmin.
Yeah.
And you're used to a technique
Mm-hmm.
and you end up realizing, oh man,
I don't
like
need
this
that
is like
much.
a pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't need this much toilet paper.
Yeah, I usually just fall asleep on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, bidet reduces, it gets rid of all that.
I know.
But that's another topic.
I love bidets.
So Charmin's Mega Roll has shrunk from 264 sheets to 244 sheets.
That's a lot of sheets.
That's a lot of sheet. 7.5% reduction. Angel Soft went from 425 to 320. 25% reduction.
Wow.
Significant.
Yeah.
And Kirkland Signature shed from 420 sheets to 380, which is about a 10%. So, but you're going and you're like, oh, what inflation? My toilet paper costs about the same.
That's what I was going to ask
but you're getting less. That's shrinkflation.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
And I wonder if there is some inflation involved in that too. Did the article mention anything about if any of those brands have raised their prices a certain percentage at all, or do they just have kept them the same?
They've kept it the same. I mean, there may have been a little price increase, but they've tried. That's the strategy.
That's the whole
I'm just
point.
going to give you.
We're just going to trick you.
We're going to keep the price the same, and we're going to just give you less. That way.
It's true that you would never notice. I'm not keeping tabs on how many sheets per roll I'm getting.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, somebody is. That's where I got this.
Well, that's
this
what
news article.
Are the companies reporting this, or is somebody's in their bathroom?
Somebody's
evident.
probably.
It's evident.
Yeah.
It's evident in you can look on the
Yeah,
Well,
on the packaging. Yeah.
Even here, it's got, I don't know, who gives a crap? They're a little,
Yeah. Here it is.
370 10 by 10 centimeter sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah, 370, 100% bamboo. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we didn't ask Robin, hey, have you guys reduced your sheets? Probably not. I don't know.
Probably not. Who gives a crap is too classy of a company to do something like that.
They wouldn't do shrinkflation on their loyal customers, right?
No.
I'm a loyal customer.
That's right.
I'm buying it all the time.
That's right.
And anyway, so shrinkflation, put that in your vocabulary list, and you'll be, the next dinner party, you'll be like, let me tell you about shrinkflation. Everybody will lean in. Yes, please. Did you know?
Filed away.
Yeah.
Speaking of toilets, I guess we're talking about. Well, not really.
Do we talk about those on this show?
Oh yeah, we talk a little bit about it. Just really quick, there's a new a sustainable toilet aimed at rural arid areas where like there's just a lot of sand, like Saudi Arabia. Earthworms, they don't really hang out in sandy.
I don't think they do.
Desert areas.
They really need a lot of moisture.
Yeah.
And places that don't have a lot of water either, right?
Yeah.
Kind of arid climates. It's a new sustainable toilet. If I can read the name of the. It was developed by. It's called the Sandy toilet, Brunel University, and he was working for a company called Luwatt.
Yes.
Anyway, it's a toilet that uses sand instead of water.
Okay, cool.
And it uses a conveyor belt to kind of smash the material, the poop, flat. And it mixes it with sand and then conveyor belts it out the back and lets it dry.
Where? Okay.
Lets it dry in, I don't know.
In a very
sort
hot,
of become
arid
more
climate.
sand.
In hot, arid climate. And so it's sort of like kind of bakes in a little flat pancake.
Little cow patties.
Yeah. And so anyway, it's a new design.
Wait, I'm sorry. I think I missed something. The toilet does this,
so the toilet does this.
It's pretty high tech.
So the toilet uses sand. I guess instead of water in the toilet, it has sand, and so and then it uses a conveyor belt to flatten it all out and mix the sand.
But you've got to have electricity to run this. This isn't like a manual. You're not back there with a lever.
They have two different versions. One is if it is hooked up to electricity, and one is a hand crank.
Okay,
there is a
That's pretty
hand
cool.
crank version.
You can actually turn it, and we'll put an image of it, hopefully.
Yeah.
So you can see it.
We can get that.
Anyway, so it's kind of a cool, innovative design. I thought I would just mention it. It's so everybody, somebody's out there thinking about.
Yeah, we love our friends at Luwatt. I mean, Luwatt's pretty awesome. So that's cool that this gentleman had also been associated with.
Yeah.
What a unique.
Yeah.
What a unique design. I'm really interested to see that.
It needs to sit.
So it's kind of the opposite of shrinkflation.
So
it's like,
is the toilet indoors or outdoors?
I guess you can put it anywhere you want to.
And how do you get your little wafers outside to bake?
Yeah, well, I think you'd probably need some sort of little trap door that sort of
fall out, onto the ground,
like a little chute.
Sit for a while, and then you go out and you shovel them up and just dispose of them.
Like these design pictures, you can't see it, but they don't really show where it goes beyond the toilet. So I don't know.
It's interesting.
That is interesting. I'm also just thinking, does the sand get caught in the crank? You ever had sand and dirt get stuck in a hand crank or something?
Well, it uses conveyor belt, so the crank, I'm sure it has some. Well,
but if you're in a sandy climate, it's got to be.
We will.
We will investigate further,
and if we find, we'll search for some video.
Yeah, this shows kind of a cutaway of the toilet, and it shows a little belt, a little conveyor, like a little belt that from the crank down to where the conveyor belt is, and then the other conveyor belt carries the poop away in a little pancake.
And do you have to do that after every time, or is it like every 3 or 4 uses?
Yeah, probably if
this
it
was
was
solid.
Super
Yeah,
liquidy.
there's probably a diverter.
Like a compost.
Or, maybe if it's super hard, you might have to crank a little harder. You don't want to strain your heart or something,
No.
Yeah, we learned all about that
learned
in a
about
previous
Elvis.
episode. Elvis, Elvis definitely couldn't have used that toilet.
Anyway, so innovations happening as we speak.
That's right. And where you can learn about more innovative toilet solutions is at the World Toilet Summit in November.
That's coming up. Yes.
So if you're interested in learning more and seeing more, or if you are an inventor of some sort, an innovator of toilet technologies, come to the World Toilet Summit.
Absolutely.
Show off your cool products.
ZuLoo will hang with you there.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, any other poo news before we...
That's all I got.
Listen to Robin. Sweet. Well, listeners, enjoy our quick chat with Robin Cho. Awesome. Robin, welcome to the ZuLoo podcast. We are so excited to have you on the show. Very honored to be able to chat with you today. A member of Who Gives a Crap. We're big time fans, so we're over here just ecstatic to be able to connect and learn from you today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is one of my, maybe I've only done a handful of podcasts. So I'm excited to be on one that's specifically focused on sanitation, which is obviously what we feel very passionate about. So thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, sanitation related podcasts were few and far between. So it's, just feels like Christmas Day whenever we're like, oh, somebody that's also excited about wash and sanitation that knows what we're talking about, and our audience definitely does. But there's also a lot that they don't know. So I'd love it if you could give a little bit of an introduction into who Gives a Crap is and your role there.
Yeah. So Who Gives a Crap? We are an Australian kind of eco-friendly toilet paper company. And so all of our products are made either recycled or bamboo. And we give 50% of our profits to actually support water, sanitation, and hygiene. And my role specifically is on the 50%. So where does that 50% of profits go? Who do we partner with? And just making sure that our donation is helping us achieve what we call our big, hairy, audacious goal, otherwise known as our BHAG, which is that every person on Earth has access to clean water and a toilet. And so we're working to make sure that we see that happen within, our lifetime, but hopefully sooner.
I mean, enough said.
Yeah, you're speaking to the choir because
amen.
Amen. We can end it with that. No, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I think I can't remember when did Who Gives a Crap start? Was it back in 2015?
2012, 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're actually going to come up and celebrate kind of a decade. It's our 10th birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, so 2013, 2012, around there.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I remember finding you guys online, and then I went to order. I'm like, oh, this is great. Bamboo toilet paper. I need to order some. The packaging is super cool. I think it was around Christmas time too. It was one of your,
our limited editions.
Your limited edition Christmas toilet paper. And I wanted to get a big box for my friends, and and then I went to order, and I'm like, oh shoot, this is only available in Australia, and I'm like, oh shoot, and so I had a secretary that used to work for me that had moved to Australia, and I'm calling her up. I said, hey, can you order this toilet paper for me? And then if I pay you to ship it to me? And she's like, oh yeah, sure. And what is it? I'm like, yeah, it's a big box of toilet paper. And she was like, are you kidding me? And she's like, no, it's for real. And so, yeah, she was super nice. She ordered the toilet paper. I reimbursed her. And I think it cost me about double to ship it all the way from Australia here. But I finally got it, and I was so excited about it. And then later we found out you guys were in the United States, and so I didn't have that logistical problem. So
no, yeah, it's so funny because a lot of our wash partners are in places where we don't ship. So we just went to Kenya and we brought boxes of toilet paper, and when we had to go through customs, they were like, "What is this?" And we were like, "Oh, it's toilet paper." And they were like, "I don't think they like quite believed us." They're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Why are you bringing so much toilet paper?" I was like, "Oh, these are just gifts." And truly, I don't think anyone really brings toilet paper as a gift. So they were a little bit suspect, but that's Seems the only way to be able to get the toilet paper, especially in places where we don't ship.
So it seems like the perfect cover, right? Yeah, sure, it's toilet paper, right?
They're like, can you open the box up? Like, let's double check this.
Can you demonstrate it, please? Okay. Yeah. No, that's great. No, yeah, and you guys have expanded in the U.S. and where all do you ship now? Are you able to? I guess that's probably a logistical problem. I know when I talked to Danny about a year or two ago, you guys were having some logistical issues getting. Well, I think you guys sold out, number one, right? Because there was a the pandemic. There was the now infamous toilet paper crisis, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't buy any toilet paper. And so how did you guys navigate that? What was that like for you guys?
You know what? That was actually before my time, but it kind of lives as like a moment of infamy. I feel like when you go, everyone kind of talks about that time and gets very pensive. But what was incredible out of that was that, our donation size, really had like tripled, quadrupled during that period, which was really amazing because it obviously overlapped in a time in which our partners really needed, a lot of money, not just to deal with COVID, but also just ongoing impacts to the economy and people's livelihoods. And so that was really, really amazing. But I think some people probably have a little bit of PTSD, of that time. But I think, a lot of people were also, I think, really feel inspired by, the team being able to kind of come together and work together to kind of get through that time, because we had never seen anything like that before. And I think it's kind of one of those things where, when you go through something really hard, like after that, everything that kind of comes your way, you feel like, oh, we've got this because we've done much harder things. I kind of get a sense that that's what that period was like. A bit was a lot of good learnings that came out of that. But also in terms of how, as a global dispersed team, do you kind of come together and work and kind of find scrappy solutions to get through it. But really the best thing that came out of it was our largest kind of donation in our organization history. And so I think whatever pain was felt, I think was felt worth it with the donation that we were able to make from like a bad situation, essentially.
Right. No, that's great. So you guys had some, so as far as the different kinds of donations you were able to make, what did that look like? I know you guys have expanded quite a bit to a number of different charitable organizations, right?
Yeah. It's really incredible, to think about kind of the history of our donation, starting with, 2,500 to one partner, going all the way to almost 6 million, in FY20, and, donating to 8 partners, working kind of all around the world. And so there's been kind of what I call like hockey stick growth, like it's kind of increasing. And then, the pandemic happened and it just kind of went up like a hockey stick. And it was amazing to be able to give that amount of money unrestricted. I think still the dominant way of giving in the sector is restricted. And I think it's something that even from the very beginning with our first like $2,500 donation, we always believed in unrestricted, and that's always been a core tenet of our giving. But obviously to do that at scale at almost 6 million is, has a huge impact. And again, like I say, just in the midst of COVID, where not everyone really knew what was happening or what needed to be done, et cetera. So to be able to kind of give that money quickly and to really trust our partners with that money, I think was really, really amazing. And I think was very, very impactful. And I think we still kind of continue to see that now, that even if the donation is not, $6 million, I think the ability to have that money be unrestricted, we just hear consistently kind of from our partners of how crucial that is, not just in terms of their kind of organizational security, but also in being innovative, taking risks, like thinking of new ideas. And, maybe a lot of those times those ideas don't necessarily pan out, but I think what everyone agrees is like the way in which we've been approaching it is not going to get us to our BHAG. We need people that are thinking differently, willing to take the risk and be scrappy and kind of learn and to be able to kind of push the sector forward. And so I think unrestricted funding really allows for that because there isn't a set, you have to complete this project at this particular time and it has to do this. We're really trying to see what works, what are the learnings, and then how can we then kind of improve upon that or ditch that and then go a different direction. And so I think for us, that was really great to be able to kind of see at scale, with almost like a $6 million donation.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know how our affiliated 501c3 has received donations with those sort of strings attached and different, time parameters. And it's sort of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We signed that and we took the money. So we better, we have to definitely get those wells drilled or get those toilets in by a certain time.
Right,
Definitely. But especially during COVID, it was a little bit crazy, but some of our toilet projects in India and other places. I know, we totally get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Who are some of the partners, the nonprofit partners that you guys work with? You mentioned 6 or 8, was it?
Yeah. So we have WaterAid. WaterAid is actually federated, so we support Australia and US. And then we have Sanergy, Shopco, Lawala, who are all based in Kenya. And then we have What's Up, Water and Sanitation for the Urban Poor. We have Splash, Water for People, and we have IDE. So I think that's 9. If I forgot, I'm going to get in trouble. Okay. But I think I did cover all of them.
Okay, well, we'll have Kelsey fact check you and make sure. No,
I was like, is there a fact check at the end of this where it's actually that's not true?
Yeah,
I think that is.
One of your donors calls up, hey, what about us? Hey,
Exactly.
What of all of the, you mentioned they share with you stories and different, what's been the most impactful, I guess, story or maybe recipients that you've dealt with so far? Have you heard about? Does any stand out to you?
Yeah. So, I think this is also because we just went to Kenya back in April. But with Sanergy, we met with the head of their logistics and kind of planning, who is responsible for all of the teams that pick up all of the waste. So I don't know how much you guys know about Sanergy, but Sanergy is a container-based sanitation company that works in the informal settlements in Nairobi. And essentially, in these informal settlements, just because of the lack of infrastructure and just the population density, sewer kind of sanitation is very, very difficult to be able to do because there just isn't space for it. And so usually what ends up happening is you're going to have to displace people from their homes to be able to, install this kind of technology. And so what Sanergy is doing is they're using a kind of container-based sanitation, which is basically what it sounds like. It's basically a toilet where you have 2 different containers, one that is capturing urine and one that's capturing feces. And then they bring in basically people with hand carts and other things, just because the streets are so narrow, to come and basically collect the waste. And so what we did was we met with this guy, Eric, who is the head of, their logistics team. And he's really responsible for all of the people that go and collect the waste on a regular, basis and make sure that, there's not open defecation happening and that none of these toilets are overflowing. And I think something that about Eric's story that was so powerful is that Eric is actually from the community. So he was unemployed. And then he basically, Sanergy basically hired him and gave him all of the training, the tools to be able to do this work, which that itself is pretty incredible because, a lot of the sanitation, especially under like collection, is very, very stigmatized. And even in our own societies, like when I talk to my family and friends, I'm like, do you ever, give like a high five or a thumbs up to your sanitation workers that come and collect your trash and all of that? And a lot of times, no one even thinks about them until a problem happens. You know what I mean? Like we just take them for granted until, I don't know, your toilet is clogged or there's massive amounts of, trash on the street. And so I think that was really incredible. But then in addition, they really give Eric and all of these people like the same benefits as anyone else that's working at Sanergy. So whether you work in headquarters in an office or you are, working in logistics and picking up waste. And I think just the transformation that you can see in Eric, like he just had absolutely no shame or embarrassment about his work, but immense kind of pride about what he does and just feeling so just like, we just kept hearing over and over again, not just from Eric, but even his team, just being like, this is the best job that we have in the whole world. Like, it's the best. We can look out in our community and see that it's clean and, our community is like healthy, and being able to really attribute that to their work, I think was very, very powerful because that is not the dominant narrative. And I think oftentimes these people are forgotten or really overlooked. And so I think for me, that was really, really touching. And then, was really amazing to see, I think in action, just like the complete like lack of awareness that he should even feel anything other than just like absolute pride in his work. So that was one for sure. And then another one was with Lawala. They do community-led health. And obviously water sanitation is a big part of that. Their WASH program is led by people living with HIV. And again, it's kind of this dual purpose of trying to break the stigma of people living with HIV. Because, in a lot of places and in these communities, people often see them as being very kind of sick and not necessarily able to really contribute or really like lead within their community. And so what they've done is they've had their WASH program being led by people living with HIV, and just the transformation that you see in the community, not just in terms of, health outcomes as it relates to HIV, but also just the social cohesion and breaking down of those barriers. And so we were able to meet one of those leaders, Perez, who was, living with HIV, and just hearing her story and the fact that she really, didn't think that she would even live until, 18, and now she's 30 and she's had, subsequently very healthy children. And her HIV is under control. And so just, I think being able to just see that internal transformation, not just for themselves, but within their communities, I think is really, really powerful. It like truly never gets old. I don't know, I could meet 100 more people and similar stories, and every story is just as powerful. I don't think it ever gets old. I'm sure like you guys feel the same way when you guys are doing the work and you guys are out in the communities. Even though the story may be very similar, it's always so powerful.
Yeah, and that's one of the points. That's one of the objectives of the ZuLoo Poodcast is to tell those stories, and share those stories. And so, it is. Every story is unique, and whether it's having new employment where they didn't have it before, or just having a toilet. I'm really a big fan of Sanergy. I've followed them for a while, and just their whole model of not only, we're not just handing out toilets to people, but we're actually creating a little business where they can, go and collect it, and they try to recycle the waste as well, and use it as a resource that way. It's just a great model. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, and I think that's a lot of things about like what people don't know about like their own feces is, just how many good things are in there that can really add a lot of value when just processed, correctly. And so I think Sanergy is a really great model of that, of just being able to think about, biofuel, fertilizer, all of that stuff, and the impact that has on really not just obviously people and farmers and livelihoods, but also on the environment. And I think that's like oftentimes like, people will often say things like, oh, well, like wash isn't really my issue or the thing I really care about, which I always find so interesting, because to me, it's like, if you care about the environment, if you care about women's equality, if you care about education, if you care about health, like really, like no matter what you care about, like there's always a connection to wash. And so I always find that interesting when people are like, no, I'm not into wash. I'm actually into, maternal health. It's like, oh, okay, well, great. Wash is actually, if you care about maternal health, you should care about wash, And so, I think it's easier, I think probably in people's minds to think about all the issues like quite separately. But I think in reality, they're often much more integrated than maybe what people realize. And I think I feel that way, especially about wash.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. That is the one common denominator when everybody poops, everybody, if nothing else, during the pandemic, the big toilet paper shortage, certainly highlighted that fact, right? It's like, I don't care who you are, what political persuasion you are, you're going to want to buy toilet paper, right? So
exactly. And now with hand washing, and you need water. Exactly. I mean, it's just like everything about wash is so foundational. And I think, when people feel like, like, I don't, someone in Mali feels so far away and I don't know what that looks like. I think it's just thinking about not having, as a woman, for example, I can easily, I can empathize with what it feels like to not have a toilet when I was living in New York and I had to go to the restroom and there was no public restroom available. And just the frantic stress of, okay, what do I do? Do I take a subway to go back home? Okay, that's going to take, 45 minutes. Is it worth paying for a taxi? Like there's all of these events because like you said, it's such a foundational feeling, and so, when you think about a woman and not having access to a toilet, but needing to go about her day, whether that's in Mali or that's in San Francisco or, in Florida, I think you kind of can understand what that feeling and the anxiety that you feel, because we've all been there, because it's something that all of us do and everything that we need, everyone needs a toilet.
And everybody has a toilet story. I mean, whether they're willing to share it or not, right? Everybody has one. And like, if you can present that moment to them, like, remember when this scenario happened to you? You remember when you ate that burrito and you couldn't get home? Like, so it is totally right about like just bridging that gap of let's bring some awareness to the situation that there doesn't have to be this negative stigma around it. And look at all the wonderful, amazing things that we're able to do because we have access to appropriate resources to contribute to wash and health and safety and economic prosperity and all of those good things.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think a lot of people are really good at just like, I'm just going to compartmentalize here, not think about it. And instead pulling out all those drawers and saying, no, look how this all relates together. And by just, one simple change, purchasing bamboo toilet paper from a company that is so set on helping to mobilize resources and engage a world economy in a way that builds brighter futures, like that's a simple thing we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's another connection.
And I will say something about, at Who Gives a Crap, people often ask like, what makes you guys kind of different and successful? And I think one of the things, and I think this is something that's really important is that, talking in terms that people understand, we're not we are in a technical field, right? Which is WASH, and there's lots of, technical acronyms, but, you have to understand that your audience is not a WASH expert. But everyone, this is something that everyone understands, right? The need to go to the toilet and not having access to a toilet. And so being able to talk about that in very human terms, in which people can see themselves in that. And then again, obviously a big component is then being able to do that in a really delightful way, instead of kind of doom and gloom, but being able to really talk about an issue honestly, transparently, but also in a very delightful way, to bring, kind of awareness, to this thing. I mean, I talk a lot about poop, but again, that's just like the nature of my job. And so I feel very, comfortable, but it's really funny because, if I'm talking to friends or, family who are not at all in my industry, they get kind of like a bit like, okay, like, all right, let's stop talking about poop. Like, this is a lot. And so, there is this kind of inherent, I don't know, like stigma, or, it's like, people don't really want to talk about it. And so I think what Who Gives a Crap has been able to do is to do it in a way that feels delightful, a little cheeky, at times, in which, people do feel okay, talking about their toilet paper or their toilet experience, things like that wouldn't necessarily happen in a conversation, and to make it okay. And so, I think that has been a huge part. And again, I think that's something with WASH where, for us, it's really important that, we talk about it in a way that feels very human, because really at the end of the day, WASH is really about people and behavior than it is about building to spec, a toilet that has all these compartments. It's really about addressing the human kind of need, desires, and really changing their behaviors to understand why using a toilet is super important, or why washing your hands, etc. And so to be able to do that, I think, is something that is really key for us.
Yeah, and you do a great job in a fun and whimsical way. I've always been impressed with your ability to bridge the gap. Talk about this super serious issue without, making, people feel down or depressed. Oh, look at all these sad stories.
Yeah.
No, you do it in such a fun, whimsical way. I think you do a great job. And once you do that, you guys inject the right amount of humor in there, and then people let their guard down. Oh, okay, maybe I can talk about this poop story, it seems like a lot of your customers and your fans, they seem to get that.
Yeah, exactly. It's really fun because, we may have like a lot of, like plumbers or, people that work in a hospital healthcare, and, they obviously are, our biggest advocates, again, because they really do understand the importance of, having access to a toilet and, really just wash, and just how like foundational that is. And so again, I think the more that you are closer to the work in various capacities, you can really, I think people really support the cause. And then for others that, are obviously, concerned about the environment and obviously deforestation and, wanting to not have that happen, obviously for toilet paper, then it's like there's an opportunity for us to also raise awareness of, not just the deforestation, but also just the social impact of doing good. And I think, I think there's always something about, I don't know, I have felt this way. And so I really identify, where like, oh, to do a lot of good, you have to donate, half your income or, do something really big. And I think for us, the idea that you can do good by just buying something as simple as your toilet paper, and that it's not what you individually are doing, but kind of collectively with everyone else, and how big of an impact that makes, I think is a really it's a really beautiful message, and that where we spend our money and what we buy really does have an impact, and it kind of really impacts the world in which you want to see and want to live in. And that something as little as toilet paper could be a really big deal, and can be a vehicle to making a big change, for the good.
No, I think that's great. You take such a simple product, toilet paper, simple yet essential, and you've made it into just a platform where you can highlight the issue. And it seems like your customers probably range from people that are in the industry to people who care about the environment to just weird people like us who love toilets for their toilet's sake, right? And no, you're such a great. All my friends, I think they're on to me now because they're like, "Oh, what are you gonna give me? Toilet paper again?" I'm like, "Yeah, probably." Yeah, probably so. It depends. Yeah, I know. I know Who Gives a Crap is going to be coming out with, and that's what I know. We're running out of time, but what do you guys see in the future on the horizon for the company and just overall? What do you guys? Anything?
I think when we think about the future, I mean, obviously, the 50% and donating is obviously just one way of doing good. But again, as we were talking about, toilet papers and the things that we make, because obviously we also have like paper towels, other things, they are essentials. And I think as we start to see a lot more volatility, just kind of in the world, just how essential those products are. And so not just thinking about obviously our 50% of financial donations, but the donation of our actual product itself. And so again, how can we use our product to, this past year, we donated to support Afghans that were taking refuge in Minnesota, Ukrainians that fled and was taking refuge in Australia. Again, a lot of organizations and shelters that are serving vulnerable populations. So starting with people that are facing kind of economic hardship all the way to, women that are experiencing domestic abuse. And so thinking about, what good can we do within our products, especially in the markets where we serve. And then again, thinking about our actual business operations and how to make them sustainable. So again, giving 50% of profits away is wonderful, but, obviously as a business, we have an environmental impact, and obviously in our products, we're trying to obviously do better, but there's other, opportunities in which we can do better. And so looking at our carbon footprint, and those things, and how we can actually lead the curve in that regards. And then, again, thinking about, what are other, products and things that we could fall within our portfolio that will just help us to increase our donation of our 50%. I think everyone knows this. We are, trillions and trillions of dollars away from, where we need to be in terms of funding to be able to reach SDG 6 by 2030. And so we need a lot more, money flowing towards WASH. And so again, how can we actually help to kind of increase that donation size? And so, looking at what that looks like, whether that's expanding geographically or, developing new products. So super excited to see what the future holds, and how our community of supporters will kind of rally around us, to be able to, for us to see a world in which everyone has access to a toilet and water.
Absolutely. And all of our listeners know that we are big Who Gives a Crap fans. So they'll all be buying toilet paper. This is their call to action. Everybody head to Who Gives a Crap, buy yourself a box. and enjoy saving the environment, increasing your social impact, and doing good around the world. Robin, thank you so much for being on the show. We have just so loved chatting with you and hearing about all the amazing things that WGAC is doing around the world. So thank you for taking the time to be with us today, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys, for your support. It was so fun chatting with you guys. And, hopefully we'll chat again soon.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Robin.
Okay. Robin, what a light.
Oh, she's got so much energy. Just want to like bottle that up and drink it in the morning.
I mean, who gives a crap? Like they know how to pick their employees, because that's just is part of their culture, right? People who genuinely care
right
about other people.
They
about the
give
planet.
a crap.
They give a crap.
Truly give a crap.
What's funny is when she was talking about, hey, she had to tell her family where she's working.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, what? Where are you giving? I mean, ZuLoo has a sort of a name. It's like, it could really be anything.
Oh,
ZuLoo. Yeah. Is that a new airline? Maybe.
Yeah.
Who gives a crap? They just lay it out there.
Yeah.
That's what they're about. And so that was funny. She had to explain,
yeah, and
a couple times. Wow, oh no, this is what we do, and
she's got it like extra intense too, because she's head of impact, and so she's not only talking about products that Who Gives a Crap creates and distributes, but also all of the charities which they fund, which are mostly wash and sanitation related.
Right.
And so she's explaining more than just toilet paper, right? She's explaining the global sanitation crisis. She's explaining menstruation. She's explaining different toilet technologies around the world that they're, partnered with. What she was chatting with us about sanitation workers and sort of the ecology of how sanitation workers and education all work together to foster community accountability. I mean, it's a big job. She's got a big job over there.
Pretty cool.
For sure. Yeah, we're big fans. Who Gives a Crap fans. Get the newsletter all the time. I'm like, yes, I'm so excited. I think I'll buy some more, even though my wife's like, why? We got so many.
Why? We have bidets in every toilet.
Everybody knows what Darren's given for Christmas.
Hey.
Your friends. Oh, hey.
It's festive.
It's either going to be one of these or in your stocking, or it's going to be one of these.
And it's guaranteed to be used.
It's true.
That's true.
I have appreciated, I frequent Darren's home for Christmas. I have appreciated my Who Gives a Crap toilet paper every year. So
how do you rate it? Compare. I mean, we've talked about some other brands. I mean,
I know we've talked about this in previous episodes about different types.
Yeah.
I mean, they do the bamboo, which is
paper.
sustainable. It's not your super fluffy.
It's probably not as comfortable for some.
Yeah.
But I think
I don't have any complaints about Who Gives a Crap bamboo toilet. I've had other
I
bamboo.
haven't used it yet.
Yeah, it's soft for being bamboo toilet paper, because I've used other bamboo toilet paper that you're like
that you can see bamboo strands and they seem to still be
growing. It has little shoots growing out of it. It's like, what?
Yeah. And
that's real bamboo.
Like you could feed
or it's actual bamboo
koala.
I think, a bamboo
an actual
stick.
rod.
Yeah.
A bamboo stick. Yeah, that's not good.
They just send you a little bundle.
Yeah, here's a bundle of sticks, bamboo sticks.
Oh, man.
No, Who Gives a Crap? I mean, it's really great. And then, with the bidet, it's like,
it's perfect.
You're just not using as much. And
match made in
all
heaven.
that stuff. Speaking of toilet paper.
This is an oddball out. This is not Who Gives a Crap.
This is not Who Gives a Crap. I don't know who made this, but this is like basically, you can actually see the wood in here, and it feels like wood.
Do I need to hold it up to a camera?
And if anybody could like identify this brand, I got this at a hotel in San Diego, and it was just like it even smelled like wood.
I don't know if you can see, like right there.
Yeah, little chips, little wood chips in there.
Little flecks of sawdust.
Anyway, yeah. So
I would like to see.
So if it's
oh my gosh.
Anyway, so it wasn't the best experience, and so I had to bring it, and I'm like, I got to talk about it.
The B brand.
The B brand. Yeah, maybe it's. Anyway, identify this, and we'll send you a free. Awesome. What do we call these?
Maybe we'll just send you a free roll, replacement roll.
We'll send you a Who Gives a Crap roll.
A condolence. Like, let's balance that out. If you've ever had to use this.
Not to slam anybody. So maybe if this is your
some type of
if this is your company,
commercially,
maybe we need to talk.
Like
constructive criticism is okay.
Yeah. Well, we just give you some constructive feedback. I mean, obviously, it's a nice looking design, but I mean, it should have like warning symbol on it. This is Texas toilet paper. We talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
A little state of Texas on there.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
Gonna need your portable Tushy bidet.
Is that a thing where you just said like the state of Texas? Is it a thing where people put images or imagery on toilet paper? Is that a thing?
Oh, well, yeah. You can buy you could
like,
buy Donald Trump toilet paper with his face on it, or you could buy
Fauci
toilet paper. We could do.
No, I'm just saying people who are polarizing.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you can. And I've back a long time ago. I remember they came out with these little. It was back when we were sort of. Well, I guess we're always anti-Iran Americans, but it's like, they had the Ayatollah Khomeini picture, and you could throw it in the toilet and just
yes,
which I thought was
I know they have
maybe over the top. Right?
They have those types of things in urinals. Some places where
like as a urinal cake.
Yes, and
has a little image of.
I haven't seen them, but I've heard about it.
Okay.
Where it's like
little President Biden, pee on him or something, or President Trump, or whoever.
It doesn't matter. Bush, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's
whoever you're against, then you could get their image on a toilet paper.
That's great.
I didn't know that existed. Wow.
Yeah, we should bring some on the show. Maybe
more toilet products. I've been well educated.
We try not to be political at ZuLoo because everybody poops, right? So, but if you do it in a festive way,
Can I ask a question about who gives a crap? Did she say in the interview, like how large a company they are, like how many units of toilet paper they sell annually, or something like that?
We didn't get into the stats there.
But she did this. I mean, this might give you a little bit of an idea. So Who Gives a Crap donates 50% of their profits to charitable organizations. And Robin
she had a number
saying, yes, that, some donations when they first started out were, I think their first donation was $2,500.
Yeah.
But now some of their donations that they've given, are in the millions.
Okay.
And so 50% of your charitable donation, a quarter, is in the millions.
That's awesome.
Then, you got to be doing.
Yeah, you're selling
pretty well.
You're selling a lot of toilet paper.
You're selling a lot of toilet paper.
And they did say during the pandemic they sold quite a bit. I think I went online to look, and they were sold out. They were like, "Oh, we're sorry, we're sold out." I mean, they sold out of everything.
Yeah.
So
people are just Googling toilet paper.
Where can I get it?
Where can I get it? Where can I find it?
I was the one hoarding it.
That's true. You still have a ton of toilet paper at your house.
I know. I'm a hoarder.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was at a relative's house the other day, and they've got really nice storage cabinets in the garage. And I opened the storage cabinets, and it was from floor to ceiling toilet paper.
Wow.
And then I went to the one next to it and opened it. Same thing, except the upper half was paper towels.
Yeah.
I just thought, and this person lives alone. Mm-hmm. I thought, how is this?
They're set for life.
And maybe this individual is thinking about the entire family, and I'm sure that they are actually. Now that I think about it,
I was thinking I'd just turn that into currency. Next toilet paper.
Well, that's the thing.
That's right.
Pandemic day. Yeah.
I do
anything
notice
of value.
Our kids, like, we're out of town quite a bit.
They raid.
I do notice our little toilet paper supply.
Are you guilty of that?
No, I have not taken toilet paper. If Christian has taken toilet paper,
Christian,
he's the klepto.
He just takes. Funny. I think I
think all children do that to their parents at some point. Oh man, mom and dad have food. Let's go.
I have taken food from my parents. My dad's last Twinkie. I'm like, he won't remember that there was just Hostess cupcakes.
Yes. He's saving it for a free day.
Yeah,
and it's gone.
Yeah. No, when your last Twinkie's gone.
Yeah, true.
Man, crazy cool.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed Robin's chat just as much as we did. Hopefully we'll have her on again in the future.
Yeah.
She's super intelligent, super bright. So just like you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the ZuLoo Poodcast. Follow us on social media at our links in the show notes below. To learn more, visit our website, ZuLoo.org. If you liked the podcast, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. For even more ZuLoo fun, send us an email with your toilet stories to podcast@zuloo.com for a chance to be featured on the podcast. This episode of the ZuLoo Poodcast is sponsored by ZuLoo Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at ZuLoo.com.